Welcome to Bedtime Stories Creepy, where dreams take a dark turn and nightmares come to life. Make sure to relax and enjoy the chilling tales that await you. Every video is a product of passion and meticulous effort. If you're enjoying the content, show some love by liking the video, subscribing to our channel, and hitting the bell icon to stay updated on our latest uploads. Caution: the following content contains unsettling themes and may not be suitable for all viewers. Viewer discretion is advised. The Haunting of Blackwood Manor. Chapter 1: The Invitation. The invitation arrived on a sweltering summer afternoon, its elegant script beckoning Emily to embark on a journey into the unknown. She traced her fingers over the embossed lettering, feeling a shiver of excitement ripple down her spine. Blackwood Manor, the very name conjured images of mystery and intrigue, whispered tales of a haunted past that had captured her imagination since childhood. With a sense of anticipation coursing through her veins, Emily wasted no time in preparing for her journey. She carefully selected her belongings, packing only the essentials as she tried to quell the flutter of nerves that danced in her stomach. The thought of spending the summer at the legendary mansion filled her with a heady mix of excitement and trepidation. As Emily's car wound its way through the winding forest roads, she couldn't shake the feeling of being drawn deeper into the unknown. The dense canopy of trees loomed overhead, casting eerie shadows across the road as she pressed on towards her destination. With each passing mile, the anticipation grew, fueled by the whispers of the wind that seemed to carry the secrets of the forest on its breath. Finally, the towering silhouette of Blackwood Manor emerged from the trees, its ivy-covered walls casting a long shadow over the landscape. Emily's heart raced as she approached the grand entrance, her pulse quickening with each step. With trembling hands, she reached out and rang the ornate doorbell, the sound echoing through the stillness of the surrounding forest. The heavy oak doors creaked open, revealing a figure shrouded in darkness standing on the threshold. "Welcome to Blackwood Manor," said the man, his voice smooth but tinged with an air of mystery. Emily's breath caught in her throat as she stepped inside, the cool air of the foyer washing over her in a wave of relief. The man introduced himself as Mr. Blackwood, the owner of the mansion, and led Emily through the grand foyer into the heart of the house. As they walked, Emily couldn't help but marvel at the opulence that surrounded her, the intricate tapestries that adorned the walls, the polished marble floors that gleamed in the dim light of the chandeliers above. Finally, they reached Emily's room, a cozy chamber tucked away on the second floor of the mansion. "I hope you find your accommodations to your liking," said Mr. Blackwood, his gaze lingering on Emily's face. With a polite nod, he bid her good night and left her alone in the silence of the room. Chapter 2: The Arrival. Alone in her room, Emily unpacked her belongings, her mind buzzing with questions about the enigmatic Mr. Blackwood and the secrets that lay hidden within the walls of the manor. She couldn't shake the feeling of unease that gnawed at her insides, the sense that she was being watched by unseen eyes. As the hours ticked by, Emily found herself unable to sleep, her thoughts consumed by the mysteries of Blackwood Manor. With a sense of determination, she rose from her bed and decided to explore the mansion in search of answers. The corridors stretched out before her, their shadows dancing in the flickering candlelight that lined the walls. Emily's footsteps echoed off the polished marble floors as she wandered deeper into the heart of the house, her curiosity driving her forward. She paused at a window, peering out into the darkness of the surrounding forest. The moon cast a pale glow over the landscape, illuminating the twisted branches of the trees that seemed to reach out towards the mansion like gnarled fingers. As Emily continued her exploration, she stumbled upon a grand staircase that led down into the depths of the house. With a mixture of trepidation and excitement, she descended into the darkness, the sound of her footsteps echoing off the walls. Chapter 3. The Welcome. The staircase seemed to stretch on endlessly, each step bringing Emily closer to the heart of the mansion. The dim light of flickering torches lined the walls, casting long shadows that danced and swayed with every movement. Emily's footsteps echoed in the silence, the sound reverberating through the cavernous space. As she reached the bottom of the staircase, Emily found herself in a vast chamber, its walls adorned with ancient tapestries that depicted scenes of a bygone era. The air was thick with the scent of age and decay, and Emily felt a sense of unease wash over her as she took in her surroundings. Suddenly, she heard the sound of footsteps echoing through the chamber, and she turned to see Mr. Blackwood approaching from the shadows. His presence seemed to fill the room, commanding attention with every step he took. "I see you found your way down here," he said with a smile, his voice echoing off the stone walls. "There are many secrets to be discovered within these walls." Emily nodded, her gaze flickering nervously around the chamber. She couldn't shake the feeling that something was watching her, lurking in the shadows just out of sight. Mr. Blackwood led Emily through the labyrinthine corridors of the mansion, each twist and turn revealing new wonders and mysteries. They passed through grand ballrooms and ornately decorated chambers, their footsteps echoing off the walls as they delved deeper into the heart of the house. Finally, they reached a door hidden at the end of a long hallway, its surface etched with strange symbols and glyphs. With a sense of anticipation, Mr. Blackwood pushed open the door, revealing a hidden chamber filled with ancient artifacts and relics. Chapter 4. The Unveiling. Emily's eyes widened in wonder as she took in the sights before her, the walls adorned with intricate tapestries, the shelves lined with dusty tomes and artifacts of a forgotten age. She stepped further into the chamber, drawn towards a pedestal that stood at its center, upon which rested a small wooden box. With trembling hands, Emily reached out and lifted the lid of the box, revealing a collection of delicate artifacts nestled within. Among them was a small silver pendant, its surface adorned with strange symbols and glyphs that seemed to pulse with a faint inner light. As Emily reached out to touch the pendant, a sudden chill ran down her spine, and she recoiled in shock. She felt a strange energy coursing through her veins, a sense of connection to something ancient and powerful that she couldn't quite comprehend. Suddenly, the chamber seemed to grow darker, the shadows closing in around her as a sense of foreboding washed over her. She turned to Mr. Blackwood, but he was nowhere to be seen, his presence swallowed up by the darkness that surrounded them. With a sense of panic rising within her, Emily stumbled towards the door, her heart pounding in her chest as she fought to escape the suffocating grip of the shadows. But as she reached out to grasp the handle, she felt a sudden force pulling her back, dragging her deeper into the depths of Blackwood Manor. Chapter 5. The Encounter. Emily's heart hammered against her ribs as she struggled against the unseen force that held her captive. Panic clawed at her throat, threatening to overwhelm her as she thrashed against the darkness that enveloped her. It seemed to constrict around her like a vice, squeezing the air from her lungs. Suddenly, a voice echoed through the chamber, a low, guttural sound that sent shivers down Emily's spine. She turned to see a figure emerging from the shadows, its form twisted and contorted into a grotesque mockery of humanity. Its eyes glowed with an otherworldly light, boring into Emily's soul with an intensity that froze her to the core. With a sense of horror, Emily realized that she was not alone in the darkness, that something malevolent lurked within the depths of Blackwood Manor, waiting to claim her soul for its own. The entity seemed to feed off her fear, drawing strength from her terror as it advanced towards her with slow, deliberate steps. Desperate to escape, Emily fought against the darkness with all her strength, her mind racing with fear and uncertainty. She tried to scream, but no sound escaped her lips as the creature drew closer, its presence looming over her like a shadowy specter. In a last-ditch effort to defend herself, Emily reached out for the pendant she had discovered earlier, clutching it tightly in her trembling hand. To her surprise, the pendant seemed to pulse with a faint inner light, casting a protective barrier around her as she held it aloft. For a moment, the entity hesitated, its glowing eyes narrowing in confusion as it recoiled from the purity of the light. Seizing the opportunity, Emily summoned every ounce of courage within her and lashed out at the creature, driving it back with a burst of blinding energy. With a deafening roar, the entity vanished into the darkness, leaving Emily trembling in its wake. She collapsed to the floor, her breath coming in ragged gasps as she struggled to comprehend the horrors she had just faced. But even as she lay there, shaken and battered, she knew that her ordeal was far from over, that the darkness that lurked within Blackwood Manor still hungered for her soul. Chapter 6. The Awakening. When Emily awoke, she found herself lying on the cold stone floor of the chamber, her body bruised and battered from her ordeal. The memories of her encounter with the malevolent entity flooded back, sending a shiver of fear coursing through her veins. With trembling hands, Emily pushed herself to her feet and staggered towards the door, her heart pounding in her chest as she fought to escape the darkness that threatened to consume her. Each step felt like a battle against an invisible force, as if the very air around her was resisting her attempts to flee. As she stumbled through the labyrinthine corridors of Blackwood Manor, Emily felt a sense of dread gnawing at her insides. She knew that she could not stay in this accursed place any longer, that she had to find a way to escape before it was too late. But with each passing moment, the darkness seemed to close in around her, its suffocating grip tightening with every step she took. With each turn of the corridor, Emily's sense of disorientation grew, as if the very layout of the mansion was shifting and changing around her. She could hear the sound of whispered voices echoing through the darkness, their words indistinct but filled with malice and intent. With every ounce of strength left in her, Emily pressed on, driven by a primal instinct to survive. She knew that she had to find a way out of Blackwood Manor, no matter the cost. But as Emily reached the grand foyer, she was met with a sight that filled her with dread: a figure standing in the doorway, its eyes gleaming with malice as it blocked her only path to freedom. It was the same entity she had encountered in the chamber, its twisted form pulsating with dark energy as it loomed over her like a specter of death. With a sinking feeling in the pit of her stomach, Emily realized that her ordeal was far from over, that she was trapped in Blackwood Manor, at the mercy of the darkness that lurked within its walls. But even as fear threatened to consume her, she knew that she could not give up hope, that somewhere, deep within the labyrinth of the mansion, lay the key to her salvation. Chapter 7. The Hidden Passages. Days turned into weeks, and Emily found herself consumed by the mysteries of Blackwood Manor. Each corner she turned revealed new secrets. Each room held its own tale of intrigue and horror. Yet, despite her growing unease, she couldn't shake the feeling that there was more to the mansion than met the eye. One evening, as she wandered the dimly lit corridors, Emily stumbled upon a hidden passage concealed behind a tapestry. With a mixture of trepidation and curiosity, she pushed aside the heavy fabric and stepped into the darkness beyond. The passage stretched out before her like a labyrinth, its walls lined with ancient stone that seemed to whisper tales of forgotten secrets. Emily's footsteps echoed off the walls as she ventured deeper into the darkness, her heart pounding in her chest with every step. As she walked, Emily began to notice strange markings etched into the stone, a language long forgotten, its meaning lost to the ages. With trembling fingers, she traced the intricate patterns, a sense of foreboding washing over her as she realized the significance of what she had discovered. Chapter 8. The Ghostly Apparitions. As Emily explored the hidden passages of Blackwood Manor, she began to encounter strange phenomena that defied explanation. Shadows danced along the walls, twisting and contorting into grotesque shapes that seemed to reach out towards her with icy fingers. One night, As she wandered the corridors alone, Emily heard the sound of whispered voices echoing through the darkness. She turned to see ghostly apparitions drifting through the halls, their faces twisted in agony as they moaned and wailed in despair. With a sense of horror, Emily realized that she was not alone, that the spirits of the mansion's former inhabitants still lingered within its walls, trapped in a never-ending cycle of torment and anguish. Desperate to escape the haunting visions that plagued her, Emily fled deeper into the labyrinth of passages, her footsteps echoing off the stone walls as she raced towards the safety of the outside world. Chapter 9. The Forbidden Chamber. As Emily's sanity began to unravel, she found herself drawn towards a forbidden chamber hidden deep within the bowels of Blackwood Manor. Rumored to be the resting place of an ancient evil, the chamber had been sealed off for centuries, its secrets known only to a select few. With a sense of trepidation, Emily pushed open the heavy door and stepped into the darkness beyond. The air was thick with the stench of decay, and a sense of foreboding washed over her as she realized the gravity of what she had done. The chamber was filled with ancient artifacts and relics, their surfaces etched with strange symbols and glyphs that seemed to pulse with a faint inner light. In the center of the room stood a pedestal, upon which rested a small wooden box. With trembling hands, Emily approached the pedestal and lifted the lid of the box, revealing a collection of delicate artifacts nestled within. Among them was a small silver pendant, its surface adorned with the same symbols and glyphs that adorned the walls of the chamber. As Emily reached out to touch the pendant, a sudden chill ran down her spine, and she recoiled in shock. She felt a strange energy coursing through her veins, a sense of connection to something ancient and powerful that she couldn't quite comprehend. With a sinking feeling in the pit of her stomach, Emily realized that she had stumbled upon a force beyond her control, a darkness that threatened to consume her soul and drag her down into the depths of despair. Chapter 10. The Haunting Echoes. As Emily delved deeper into the mysteries of Blackwood Manor, she found herself plagued by haunting echoes of the past. Memories long forgotten resurfaced with each step she took, whispering tales of tragedy and betrayal that had unfolded within the mansion's walls. One night, as she wandered the deserted corridors, Emily heard the sound of distant laughter echoing through the darkness. It was a sound tinged with madness, a cacophony of voices that seemed to reverberate off the stone walls with chilling intensity. With a sense of dread, Emily followed the sound, her footsteps echoing off the cold, damp floors as she ventured deeper into the heart of the mansion. The laughter grew louder with each passing moment, filling her ears with its haunting melody until it seemed to consume her very soul. Suddenly, Emily stumbled upon a hidden chamber concealed behind a crumbling wall, its entrance obscured by layers of dust and debris. With trembling hands, she pushed aside the rubble and stepped into the darkness beyond, her heart pounding in her chest with a mixture of fear and anticipation. What she found within the chamber sent a shiver of horror down her spine, a collection of skeletal remains, their hollow eye sockets staring out at her with accusing glares. It was a grim reminder of the dark secrets that lay buried beneath the surface of Blackwood Manor, a testament to the horrors that had unfolded within its walls. Chapter 11. The Curse Unleashed. As Emily continued her exploration of the mansion, she stumbled upon a hidden chamber deep within the bowels of Blackwood Manor. It was a place of darkness and despair, its walls adorned with ancient symbols and glyphs that seemed to pulse with a sinister energy. In the center of the chamber stood a pedestal, upon which rested a small wooden box. With a sense of foreboding, Emily approached the pedestal and lifted the lid of the box, revealing a collection of delicate artifacts nestled within. Among them was a small silver pendant, its surface adorned with strange symbols and glyphs that seemed to twist and writhe with a life of their own. With trembling hands, Emily reached out to touch the pendant, unaware of the darkness that lurked within its depths. As her fingers brushed against the cold metal, A sudden chill ran down Emily's spine, and she recoiled in shock. She felt a surge of power coursing through her veins, a sense of connection to something ancient and malevolent that threatened to consume her very soul. With a sinking feeling in the pit of her stomach, Emily realized that she had unleashed a curse upon herself and Blackwood Manor, a curse that had lain dormant for centuries, waiting for the right moment to strike. Chapter 12. The Final Stand. As the curse spread throughout the mansion, Emily found herself battling against forces beyond her control. Shadows danced along the walls, twisting and contorting into grotesque shapes that seemed to reach out towards her with icy fingers. Desperate to put an end to the nightmare that had consumed her life, Emily embarked on a final quest to confront the darkness that lurked within Blackwood Manor. With each step she took, she felt the weight of the curse bearing down upon her, threatening to crush her spirit and drag her down into the depths of despair. But Emily refused to surrender to the darkness. With a steely resolve, she pushed forward, determined to confront the evil that had taken root within the mansion's walls and put an end to its reign of terror once and for all. In a climactic showdown, Emily faced off against the malevolent entity that lurked within the heart of Blackwood Manor, wielding the power of the silver pendant against the darkness that threatened to consume her. With a burst of blinding light, Emily banished the curse from Blackwood Manor, freeing the spirits of its former inhabitants and bringing peace to the souls trapped within its walls. As the darkness receded, Emily emerged victorious, her courage and determination shining brightly in the face of adversity. And though the scars of her ordeal would linger for years to come, Emily knew that she had triumphed over the forces of evil and emerged from the shadows stronger than ever before. Thank you for joining us on this journey through creepy stories. Each story is crafted with care and dedication, ensuring that every spine-chilling moment is captured just for you. If you enjoyed these tales and appreciate the effort that goes into producing them, don't forget to subscribe to Bedtime Stories Creepy for more nightmares that will keep you up at night.